So Jeb Bush is still campaigning for president. He's going to be president. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And he was on Fox and Friends and Friends and Friends. And guess what he said? Who he's going to get to help him on the campaign trail. Are you ready for this? Let's. Here we go. Ready?
A lot of people say, your brother also has a lot of popularity. Like Bill Clinton has with Democrats, your brother has it with Republicans. Is that...
Now, let me just tell you, Bill Clinton, actually, successful president. He actually had balanced budgets. He had a booming economy. We were pretty much war-free, although he did do a little bombing here and there.
Kosovo worked.
Kosovo, what have you. So he was really overwhelmingly... His approval ratings when he left office were sky high, right? So you could understand George Bush.
He could have, Bill Clinton could have been elected to a third term if he had campaigned with Monica Lewinsky's mouth on his dick the whole time.
It was also weird why Al Gore rejected.
He still would have been elected.
Yeah, and It was weird that and Al Gore ran away from Bill Clinton and lost.
Yeah,
right.
Looking knucklehead. That's just like Democrats, right? So here, he's got more to say.
Did you think if he could tell your story as well as you can, if not better, is that something you're considering?
Yeah, it is something to consider because he is very popular, and I also know I need to go earn this. That's why I'm in New Hampshire today. We have a drug summit to talk about the heroin epidemic up here. I've outlined a detailed plan to deal with that. I have some experience in it personally, and certainly as governor of the state, we created a strategy to reduce drug abuse in our state. That's what this is about. My brother has been a strong supporter. I love him dearly, and he'll continue to play a constructive role.
Can I just say that I bet you even George W. Bush thinks this is a bad idea. I'm not kidding. Come on, don't you think even George W. Bush is like?
Yeah, because I think George W. has spent most of his post-presidency hiding.
Yes.
I think he kind of realizes that he fucked up big time.
Yes.
Yeah. Even though he won't admit to that. And it's good that Jeb Bush is addressing the drug problem because I understand it's so bad now. A lot of National Guard members are going AWOL, so they really have to.
It's what is Jeb Bush's slogan going to be? We're going back into Iraq.
Yeah. Well, he's already said. I mean, you say that as a joke, but. He's already said that Paul Wolfowitz is advising him on foreign policy, and all of the Republicans are basically campaigning on the idea that they would go back and send troops back into the Middle East and start all kinds of wars.
Jeb Bush's new slogan, Frank? It'll be different this time. So I get it now, Frank, because in all the interviews with Jeb Bush, they've just never widened out the shot enough to see the plastic bubble that's surrounding him. He's the boy in the plastic bubble, all grown up.
He is.
Yeah.
He's the John Travolta of this campaign.
It's like there's a contest going on to see who doesn't get it the most.
Right. That's why he eats nails for breakfast, because they might pop the bubble.
And he eats nails for breakfast. You know that, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the one weird thing, though, about this. I do feel like they're punking us at some point. Yeah, my brother. But get this. So George Bush, when he left office, very unpopular. In fact, let's go to some of the... when Bush left office in 2009, only about a third of Americans said they had a positive opinion of him. So like 33%, which is like the hardcore Republicans, right? So that means like 67% of the people didn't.
Yeah.
They had a bad... So that was in a February 2009 poll conducted about a month after he left office. Republicans were the only group among which a majority said they had a favorable view of Bush. Even among self-described conservatives, only 50% had a favorable take on the former president and champion of, quote, compassionate conservatism. So guess what, though? But now, this is according to a CNN poll from June of 2015. They say 52% of adults have a favorable impression of George W. Bush, and 43% haven't. So his favorables are now in the he's positive now. Isn't that crazy, Frank? And I have two theories why this is. First of all, does that shock you?
I don't know. I mean, I think people ask those poll numbers. They don't really put much thought into their response, and they kind of forget about things too.
I agree. I think people forget about things, and no matter who the guy is, as time goes on, people seem to have a better opinion of him, right?
And our press does not portray him as this. The mainstream press doesn't really portray him as this horrible thing that happened to America
Right.
that we have to recover from them. In fact, because our press was complicit in a lot of his horrible policies, he kind of gets a free ride from them these days.
He certainly does. People forget about Katrina, his inattention to Katrina. He flew over it in his jet.
And the economy collapsed right at the end of his term.
Right at the end.
So they were able to really shift that using
Right.
some trickery onto Obama. So a lot of people blame Obama for all the economic collapses.
Well, here, according to this article, I saw a CNN poll suggests that what's really might be pushing the numbers is that one issue, at least, is the Iraq War. Asked whose policies were more at fault for the current problems the U.S. faces in Iraq, 44% blamed Obama, 43% blamed Bush. Wow. You talk about good news coverage. Barack Obama is to blame for Iraq. Barack Obama now he's to blame for a lot of things. Iraq is not one of them. In fact, they left Iraq on George Bush's timetable. And here's my other thing. When you hear polls now, I don't listen to polls that I don't as closely. I'm starting to sound a little bit like Donald Trump, where I don't listen to polls. Maybe he always does, except when they go negative. Here's why. Who are they calling, Frank? Who has a landline? I don't even know people. Most of the people under 30 don't even have cable. Let alone people. I'm not kidding. So they're calling people at home. They all have to be senior citizens. They all have to be frightened, and a lot of them are rural. Who are they calling? So this is why these polls are. I don't trust these polls anymore. Do you trust these polls?
That's a great point. I mean, not only who are they calling, but who's answering?
Who's answering their landline? I have a landline, but because it's hooked up to my alarm for my house,
Sure.
I have to. But I never answer my landline ever.
I get a phone call, I get an anxiety attack. I don't answer my phone.
So that's
my niece and nephew made the other day. They were making fun of my brother, their dad, because he leaves voicemail messages, which nobody even does anymore.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's text, email, that's it.
Yeah.
So they're still calling people on landlines, and they think their science is off.
Right.
Sure.
But on the other hand, though, the older people like that, they're the ones that
Vote
more, though.
Yeah, okay. You are correct. So maybe they said of likely voters feel a certain way, but that doesn't mean the country, right? Because most of the country doesn't vote. So that's another. So I say be very skeptical of any poll that says George W. Bush is popular again, even though the news media does their damnedest to make sure everyone forgets that he's literally a war criminal. Literally.
Yes.
He literally ordered war crimes. Barack Obama admitted that we tortured some folks.
Yeah.
We tortured some folks. That's so funny the way he said it. Yeah. We war crimed them. We war crimed some folks. That's what he could have said.
Yeah.
Folks, we tortured some folks. Anyway, so
Jimmy, if you called him a war criminal on MSNBC or CNN, you would never be invited back.
never be invited back. Right, you're correct. That's why we exist. Right? That's why the Jimmy Dore Show is here. That's why people are getting their news from places like this and YouTube. Why? Because the mainstream news media is completely bought. They're complicit. It's not even like it's not a stretch that they're bought. They're literally owned by the machine. Go ahead.
Well, it's that millionaire politeness bubble that exists in Washington between the media and the power elites. That's all it is.
The millionaire politeness bubble. Well, you can't call somebody a war criminal. That would be impolite.